Hello and welcome to the next part of our consideration of deviance in society. Now, I've brought with me a co-host today who I'll just introduce to you. This is Lightning the dog. Say hello to the nice people, Lightning. Good boy. Lightning is going to accompany me as we discuss postmodernism today. However, before we go, I just wanted to check what the rules are. Now, I can carry or push equipment on the footpath. Yeah, not trying skateboard. Yep, not relevant. Keep dog on leash at all times. I think we have the dog on a leash. Good. Oh, this one's a little embarrassing. Pick up after your dog. Well, we got the doggy bags here as well, so we're okay with that. So no littering, no skateboarding, no bike, smoke-free, CBD. Yep. CCTV in operation in this area. Okay, so what does that mean? If we look over here on this roundabout, you'll see the pole there. I'll point it out accurately with my finger. There it is. All the cameras on top. All the cameras there to keep an eye, well, one would think on the flow of traffic, but we don't even have traffic lights here. So what we have is some degree of surveillance taking place on the citizenry as we move around doing our business. Or perhaps as we're not doing our business, but being deviant in society. So I suspect that this is a good time to start talking about postmodernist theories. Postmodernist theories argue that society is quite fragmented and individualized, which also means that power is also fragmented and individualized. One of the outcomes of that is that society doesn't need to have public displays of violence. So you're not going to be controlled in this society by being put in the stocks or seeing someone else put in the stocks and then whipped or tortured. So societies are moving away from that sort of coercive control, those public displays, because they're being replaced by surveillance technologies. So society is able to implement different technologies so as to view its citizenry. Now, when you combine that with the idea that the citizenry has become risk aware, and so knowing that it's being surveilled will self-regulate. So that's how Michel Foucault sees things operating. And when you see the surveillance technologies appearing in our cities, on the streets, in the shops and other places, when you think about the surveillance capability that employers have when there are people at their workstations, then I think that Foucault might have been onto something. So we have the technologies that are being used. We also have normalizing judgments. So normalizing judgments are those things where we judge people against what are deemed to be normalized standards. Now, a simple example is the HSC, or whatever state you're in, the appropriate the appropriate final certificate for your education. So the HSC is a process whereby young citizens are told what the standards of their educational performance are, and then they are judged against it. Now, it serves the purpose in that they will self-regulate to a degree and try to come up to the appropriate standards and then be given a mark at the very end of it. So we have the socialized, the internalization of the surveillance that is taking place, combined with the technology that makes it all possible. Now, further to this, postmodernism rejects the idea of the label of deviance. Now, it can view deviance, but it is more interested on what the individual does with that. So it tries to give power back to the individual within the context of the fragmented and individualized society in which we live. So, while postmodernist theories may have developed further from labeling theory, They're interested in what does the individual do with those labels. Do you take them on board? Do you then turn them and then give them new meaning and claim them in a new way so as to give legitimation to yourself and what might otherwise be termed a deviant behaviour? Postmodernism is interested not just in the judgment that somebody might make, but more so in the way that there are multiple viewpoints that might be brought to bear upon a situation, and in this case, deviance. There are multiple subjective perspectives. There are multiple meanings. So just to give someone a label is actually, we're actually missing a lot of the story. What does it mean to that individual to hold that label? What do they do with it? How do they resist it, reclaim it? Postmodernism looks at the way that people are able to take on labels, change their meaning, and then use them positively. Gay pride is a simple example of something like that happening. Postmodernism rejects the idea of deviancy in so much as it is devoid of the fuller meaning of what the individuals who bear the labels might place upon that deviancy. Now, that also brings it into criticism from various other theorists as well. Noam Chomsky, a very well-known linguist, is quite critical of postmodernism, saying that it actually adds nothing analytically or empirically to the work that is being done in the world. Further, it's criticized because it doesn't give attention to factors like globalization or to capitalism. One of the more serious critiques, and again by Noam Chomsky, is that because postmodernism actually says that it's more about the stories that people tell themselves, that it's removed itself a little bit further from what is happening in society, and is saying that it is now synonymous with moral relativism. In other words, I can justify any of my behaviours and say, well, look, it's all relative to the situation that I'm in. So that's quite a serious critique that Noam Chomsky gives there. Postmodernism is an interesting array of thoughts and theories, rejecting deviancy as a label, but seeking to acknowledge the agency that individuals have and what they will do with the labels that they are given and the meanings that they will place in and around those labels. I hope you enjoy reading and learning more about postmodernism. Thank you. Bye.